Hello and welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to the fourth round of the PSGL FP Challenge Cup here in Grid 2. We are here in Germany this time, and it's once again myself, Felix, and Jack commentating for you. Hello, Jack.
Hello, I'm always excited. This is the first ever race we commentated together on, and it was action-packed. Germany never disappoints. Great track for racing, so I'm very, very excited to see how people do today.
Exactly, and we can run through the grid shortly. We sadly don't have the standings available, which is a bit of a shame, but we can just run through the grid. You know the typical format. We do have a qualifying race, which is going to be a 5-lapper determined by the championship standings in reverse order, and then that qualifying race determines the grid for the feature race, which awards you with double the points of the usual PSGL point system. So in the Mercedes, we've got Sam T today, and someone else. I'm not sure who that is right now, but he will be joining the lobby, I'm sure. Then we've got Davey and Biz together in the Ferrari. Then Forbes, he's going to be one to watch in this race. I think he's going to be right up there in the Red Bull. I'm not sure why exactly he's in that car. I think he's a bit too quick for that, but we'll have to wait and see. He's sitting in the same car as New Zealand Cam. Then we've got the Renault team of Tipson and Greeny. Then the Haas team of Malham and Nano Bacon, Cayman and Maxi Luca GT5. We're just going to call him Maxi Luca for this race. Will fill the McLaren team. Then Lico and All Cats Are Grey are in the racing point for today. Then Skeven and QPR Beasts are race winner from last week, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Both of them are together in the Alfa Romeo. Then we've got Bugatti and CC Brain in the Toro Rosso together. Those two are going to be drivers to watch as well. And then we've got, not George Russell, but we've got Praga in the Williams. I'm not quite sure who else is in the Williams, but we will find out as soon as the lobby starts, as we are reading up already. So it seems like none of the drivers are actually joining, and as Big C has just sent me the standings, which is really nice, so I can indeed tell you that currently Jonathan is leading the championship, so he has a really good chance of winning it, but he is closely followed by Praga, only 4 points behind, and then there's a bit of a gap. 12 points behind them is Bugatti then, so the top two still really close, and with quite a while to go in the championship, we will probably see it coming down to quite an interesting battle, especially with the realistic cars being adapted to the current standings.
Yeah, absolutely. Praga had a disappointing race last week at Canada. Really didn't work out well for him. I think he might have been in the Renault or something, but yeah, he did not have a good race. He fell right down the order. He just didn't quite have the pace, so he's going to want to do well this week to be able to try and come back with that. Jonathan, he's been showing good pace all season long. That's why he's at the top of the standings right now, because he's just been really quick, despite being in the Williams. So right now, Jonathan's on. Oh, hello.
Ooh. So that is going to be an interesting qualifying race for us. I'm just going to take a little sip of my water to be prepared for the action that is going to go on in this qualifying race, as we always saw on the previous occasion.
Yeah, I mean, the wet weather, this is going to be interesting, especially in the qualifying race, because as we know, either you go full out aggressive and possibly blow up, or you try and keep it passive and hope everyone else blows up in front of you. So in the rain, that could all change. I think most people are going to try and keep it a little bit more calm because of the rain, so it could really change up this race.
Yeah, 100%, and we won't have much time to commentate on the race, as it seems like the lights are coming on already. We've got a Mercedes in first, we've got Ferrari in second, and it's lights out, and away we go. Sam is leading the way for Davey, who's struggling for grip. His Ferrari teammate Biz goes round the outside. Both Red Bulls are going side by side through turn one. That looks like Cam went off the track. Now Forbes might have a good run on Davey here, coming down into turn two. Maybe he can get the move done. Oh, Biz goes really wide, goes off the track even, and Forbes is already up into P2. A great start from him.
Yeah, one of our second place in the championship, Praga. He's all the way down in the order. He's spun coming out through the first corner. I think he made a little bit of contact with someone. Except here's Johnson. He's already made up. I think that's 4 positions. He's just behind Bugatti now, coming into hairpin. The main overtaking spot on this track. People going slowly ahead of him. He locks up. Oh, I wonder if some people have wet setups or what, because I think I'm seeing a lot of people really struggling for grip right now.
Yeah, I think wet setup would certainly make sense right now, as the 2 Ferraris are really going for it. Davey on the inside in front of the Mercedes grandstand, and there they go side by side. Davey seems to have pushed off his teammate, but that's fine. He comes back onto the track, and QPR Beast overtakes Nico. A cheeky move from the Alpha driver, and he's up into P6. Great one.
Absolutely, a lot of drivers really struggling in these conditions. I'm seeing people going
Owen
wide
Timpson and Malham have collided
Ooh.
together with Skeven, I think that was. Owen Timpson's coming halfway across the track. That's really dangerous, but luckily no one seems to get hit. Praga nearly got collected by that one, but surprisingly enough, no retirements yet.
Not just yet, except they could be coming still in these really treacherous conditions. It's really hard to drive out there. You can see with the drivers, because QPR Beast right now, he's doing quite well in his Alfa Romeo, just behind Davey. He's not too far away. He's going to be starting up a move. Maybe even into this corner. No, he drops back. But yeah, a lot of people really struggling in these conditions. A lot of people going wide, losing the traction. Yeah, it's really, really difficult. Oh, actually, QPR Beast just spun. I thought he was about to spin. He lost the rear. He hit the back of Davey W and almost lost the car. So now he's dropped all the way back down to P10, losing 4 positions. So QPR Beast is not having a good time right now.
No, and Greeny has actually pitted because of front wing damage. And I just wanted to talk about Forbes. That's what we were discussing before the race. He seems to pull away and have that victory basically secured right now in the qualifying race. But here goes Skeven down the inside of Nano Bacon, who loses the rear end, clips his car and slams into the wall. Lucky for him not to retire right now. But that is not how he planned that move. CC Brain goes completely off the track. Cayman now around the outside. Once again, contact between the drivers. And Cayman, he kept it on track. Maxi Lucas says, thank you very much, and goes through on the inside.
Yeah, that was an interesting overtake there from Cayman and CC Brain. I just went down to watch them, and I'm not really sure what happened. They were just kind of rubbing wheels, and it was interesting. But I've just noticed the New Zealand Cam overtook Sam T up at the front of the grid. So Forbes, he's in the Red Bull. I think he's way too quick for that car, and he may just end up dominating this race if he can keep it in first, which I imagine he could be able to unless he makes a mistake. Except QPR Beast, I thought it was side by side with someone there. It seemed to be very close. But yeah, Forbes, I think it's going to be quite an easy win today if he keeps it in first place.
I saw
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
QPR Beast seems to have slightly misjudged his braking point in those wet conditions, and maybe Jonathan is just that little bit more careful there into turn 2, so he clipped the rear. Meanwhile, Biz has gone past Sam, but we are watching this battle right now. There they go side by side down into the hairpin. Oh, huge lock up from Jonathan, and he goes off into the distance, and there goes QPR Beast past him, and one of those 19 drivers in the race has just retired, which is Greeny.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, except I'm noticing a lot of drivers really struggling with those braking zones in the wet. Locking up their brakes, going deep. We've seen a prime example from Jonathan. He's struggling under his brakes right now.
Praga just went completely off the track. Don't know if there was any contact, but he was really close to CC Brain. He's made a solid recovery, being 6 seconds behind P18 after like the first couple of corners, but now he's in P14, so a bit of damage limitation, and obviously you need more or less a good result to have a chance for a good result in the feature race. Otherwise you'll have to take too much time to get past the slower drivers in cars that are probably, even though they are quicker, just the driving skill of each driver is very individual, so it's obvious that the pace is still going to be pretty good from those very quick guys. And I think Praga is doing a solid job in terms of damage limitation right now. But Jonathan, his championship rival, in P10 right now, so that's even better for him.
Yeah, Praga's got his work cut out to try and be able to
well, there goes
close that
Nico
gap.
down the inside. Sorry to interrupt you there, but he goes down the inside of Davey into the hairpin. Very tight between them, not much room given for each of them drivers. And there goes Skeven past Davey as well. And Skeven moves himself up into P6, says thank you very much. And Davey has just lost 2 positions within 1 corner.
Yeah, so Davey, he's not having fun in the Ferrari. I don't think the Ferrari is great in the wet conditions. I have absolutely no idea what the kind of cars are like in the wet conditions. It's kind of the same sort of thing. But yeah, Parker, he's got his work cut out to try and be able to close that gap to Jonathan. He's about 4 places away, except he wants to get in the points and beat Jonathan to be able to keep his championship fights and hopes alive. As Bugatti's getting very close to Davey as well. I don't think Davey's having much fun in these wet conditions.
Yeah, I think it's coming down to damage limitation for him right now as well. He will be hoping for a dry race in the feature race, I think, because like you said, he seems to not enjoy this time all too much, but QPR Beast was looking for a little move on the inside on Bugatti into turn 2, but he thought about it, backed out, and now he tried to prepare a good exit out of turn 3 then to get a really good run on this long parabolica kind of straight, because it's really a corner basically, but it's easily flat. And there, no, I thought he was gonna go for a move. Bugatti defended very late, but not aggressive, not too aggressive, so everything's fine between those drivers, and currently it stays the same. But I've just realized Biz is really close to New Zealand Cam.
He is, this kind of section here, the fast right-handers, they're not a place you want to try and overtake, but the corner after this one here, I think it could be possible to be able to make an overtake if you get the good exit, except New Zealand Cam is on 1 bar right now, so he's got the alien indicator, so that might put Biz off of making a move. And this little sector 3 here, this is hard to make a move, so I think it's going to be Cam to take P2 for now. But Forbes, dominant win, comes across the line to win this qualifying race.
Yeah, and that was pretty predictable, like we said. I haven't seen many penalties, but Sam comes home in 4th, Lico gets 5th, in front of Skeven, Davey, Bugatti, QP Beast and Jonathan. Those are the 10 drivers that picked up points in this one, and CC Brain and Praga right behind each other. Praga is probably not happy to be starting 4 positions behind his championship rival, who's also in the Williams, so that's not looking good for him in the race, but he's got a 50% race to make that time back up.
He does indeed. Praga, he's going to want to try and fight his way back through. He isn't in the quickest of cars, which is sad for him, unlike Forbes, who is, I'd say, one of the quicker drivers here, but he's in one of the quicker cars as well, as you can see. All British podium, that's quite satisfying to look at.
Well, we've got no German on the podium right now. There's still a chance that we've got a German on the podium in the race itself, in the feature race at their home track, so maybe we'll see something like that, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously Forbes now with the best chance to win this feature race and to get a really, really good result.
Yeah, indeed. Do you want to run through the order?
Yes, I can. I just was watching the podium. So we've got Forbes starting in P1 in front of New Zealand Cam, so a double Red Bull front row. Then Biz in 3rd in his Ferrari, Sam in the Mercedes in 4th. Then Licker will start from 5th. Really good chance for him to get a good result as well. Skeven in 6th. Davey held on to P7. Bugatti will start in P8. QPR Beast in his Alfa Romeo will start 9th in front of Jonathan, current championship leader. Then All Cats Are Grey in P11, right behind Jonathan. Then Maxi Luca dropped down, made a few positions up, would start 12th. CC Brain 13th, and I'm going to run through the rest as soon as we are loaded in.
Yeah, Germany already being an interesting show that has potential for wet weather, so if we see that in the feature race, that can also change things quite dramatically. Maybe calms down the racing a little bit though, because that happens sometimes in the wet. People take it a little bit more cautiously because they're more scared for overtakes in the wet, but if it stays dry, I do not doubt we'll be seeing some fantastic racing. I mean, Forbes, I think he's the obvious race winner in this race as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, being a good driver in a good car, so we're also going to have to see our higher tier drivers higher up in the championship standings in their slower cars try and make their way through the maybe quicker cars. I'd say the biggest overtaking opportunity on this track is the hairpin, as he can brake late, go up the inside, what have you.
Yeah, and obviously he will happily take the maximum amount of points out of this one if he he's able to do so, but it looked like he is just in a car that's not really suiting him in terms of equaling or balancing the pace between the drivers. He seems to be too quick at the moment, but that's just how it is sometimes. So he probably will be happy to take away those 10 points from the qualifying race, and then maybe as well the 32 points from the feature race. But who knows? We could also have a safety car. We could also have other factors coming into play. So we'll have to wait and see, and anything could happen, as we saw in real life in Germany as well.
Yeah, safety cars, not an uncommon thing around Germany. I remember I once had 4 safety cars come out when I was commentating with Felix as well. 4 safety cars in one race, so it's no stranger to a safety car, which can change this race. I imagine most people are going to try and run for a medium hards. Soft hard, I think I've seen some people do, but I wouldn't go for that myself. So I'd say medium hard is the way to go for me personally. So unless there's rain, I don't think we'll see much different.
Yeah, and I mean, strategy is not really a factor now. Like you said, it's probably mediums to hards, due to the fact that the qualifying race was in the wet conditions. Everyone's getting a free tire choice, so that's not gonna make any differences to the drivers outside the top 10, which is really a shame for them, but good for the drivers who are starting inside the top 10. And yeah, so a very, very equally set race in terms of circumstances for everyone.
Yeah, I think it's also on the first lap going to be a bit of damage limitation for most of the drivers who want to make it up through the order, as the first corner can be lethal. If someone doesn't take it cautiously, it can be lethal for everyone, as it's such a tight, fast corner. I mean, if you go side by side through there, I think there's a high likelihood of you spinning and hitting into someone, maybe hitting into the wall. We saw it with Bottas, Hamilton. They've spun through there, and it's a place where you can hit the wall and come back out on track. So maybe if the game glitches and you don't go, so it could be quite a big impact and take you out of the race. So I think drivers need to be careful through there. There's a few high speed sections as well. Going side by side could be risky. I mean, I've even seen someone crash through there. I was trying to take a sip of water under the safety car and went off into the gravel. So yeah, Germany can be an interesting track, but I don't think it's going to disappoint us.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Germany has delivered in the past few years very, very nicely indeed. I mean, we had 2016, which wasn't that exciting, but all right. And then obviously 2018 and 2019, amazing races. And like you said, league races do really deliver here as well. And it looks like we've got sunset, which is interesting. So
I was just noticing the shading looked a little bit different to what I was used to. I was kind of thinking that it looked a little bit different. I wasn't sure if it was cloudy or what, but it just looks a little bit darker. Yeah, sunset should be quite pretty to look at, so not bad.
I'll take it. I like the pictures from Australia every season, when the drivers are racing while the sun is kind of setting already as well in real life, and it always looks nice. I think some drivers would prefer if it was official timing, because sometimes when the sun is blending in so much, it can make it harder to see a breaking point.
Yeah, that's another kind of difficulty with the sunset, not being able to see a braking point. I've seen some people lose it under their brakes and overshoot or just completely miss their braking zone in general because they can't see it because the sun's in the way. But yeah, it always looks pretty. I love a good sunset, I do. But formation lap's getting underway so we can look through the grid.
Yeah. Oh, it's lights out and away we go. It looks like we
okay.
don't have a formation app. That's interesting, but Forbes has got a great start. So has Biz, and he's made contact with the Red Bull and he slams into the wall and is already out.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that a safety car ready? Just a stricken Red Bull. We've already lost Using Cam coming from the front, and that's a safety car already. I did say the first corner is going to be lethal, and here we go. We've got a safety car already, and Using Cam being out of this race. We had no time to run through the order because of the just lights going out, no formation up, of course. So now we can slow down and kind of talk about people who made up positions, championship order, whatever, because we've got about 3 laps to do so now.
I didn't know there was no formation lap. I actually thought there's always been one.
Yeah, there
I'm
was
pretty sure
before,
there's always been one, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was, but this is a surprise.
Maybe we've got wrong settings. I mean, we've got sunset as well. So I'm not sure if that's planned. It looks very good, not gonna lie, but definitely one thing to mention is that Jonathan, our championship leader, is down in
Oh yeah.
last with front wing damage. He spun round into turn 1. New Zealand Cam was actually the only driver who was out and starting on the soft compound, so he was probably committed to the 2-stop, but now he doesn't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
I think there's been a mix of contact with his teammate and Biz behind. So very unfortunate way for him to end this race. And yeah, that's going to be very, very disappointing for him, especially while he was starting in P2.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have much time to really process all the information. Really, as I'm seeing a few people overtaking on the safety car, I have no idea what's going on, but yeah, we didn't have much time to process the information. We just only had cars spinning, and the safety car as the Rebel was in a dangerous location, so I think it's fair enough we had this safety car. But Forbes, he stays out on the lead right now, which is no surprise for me, but only 3 drivers haven't gained a position, and that's, well, before the pit stoppers, and that was Forbes who stayed the same, and I think it was Jonathan and Skeven who went down a few positions, so most people managed to gain off this safety car.
Yeah, I mean, everyone at least made up one spot from 3rd onwards because P2 crashed out. And lucky for Biz actually not to get any front wing damage. So really, really interesting. As right now in my room it sounds like my PlayStation is about to take off. So I hope that sound in the background isn't too loud for the stream.
Can't hear it.
That's good. That is good because it is annoying me personally. But Forbes right now on the hard compound. But let's be honest, I think he will still pull away even though he's got slower tyres.
Yeah, I think so. He's quicker than the drivers directly behind him, and yeah, slower tyres, but that won't make a difference. I think he'll still be able to pull away. And well, the alternate strategy which isn't so alternate, because now you've got a free choice of tyres, about 50-50 of the grid, mediums and hards. So yeah, I think Forbes still looks very likely to take this win as long as he doesn't get in any incidents or bottles it himself. He should be okay to take the win. But Lickle, he's in P4. I think he could be someone to watch out for. A very quick driver who's in a middle pace car, so I think we could see him do something in this race.
Yeah, so I can definitely see him doing something really, really good in here. I think P2 is definitely possible for him, especially like you said in the midfield car and the Racing Point. That's a really good chance for him. Praga currently is gonna love this situation right now. His championship rival down in last place on the mediums and in the same car as him. So pace-wise, I think both should be pretty equal, and he has got, you know, a better position to start from. I mean, P12 is not the worst thing you could start in, and I think he could be able to gain a few more positions, but he has got some quick drivers in front of him as well.
Yeah, this is his chance now to be able to get more of a lead on his championship rival Jonathan, who is now at the back of the grid. He's on mediums though, so he can cut his way through. He is in the Williams though, so it's a bit slower, but yeah, this is Praga's chance to be able to make up some points on Jonathan. If you can get through the field and get into the points, then I think it could be a good chance for Praga to get some points on Jonathan today.
Oh wow. Yep. Corner cutting, I think that should be well known actually. That
yeah.
Corner cutting under the safety car gives you ridiculous amounts of penalties. But we're just waiting for Forbes to restart this race in his Red Bull. He has got the right to control the pace at the moment. Doesn't look like he's going just yet. It's forming a huge train, and I think now he is going, yes, and we're back to green flag racing right now. It looks like in the background Bugatti's got a really good run on Davies, so he might be looking for a move somewhere in this lap. We've got many drivers going completely off the track, and there comes Bugatti, maybe down the inside of Davy. No, he thinks better of it. Davy goes a bit wide though. That compromises exit, and Bugatti is going for a move around the outside, but his Honda engine really won't help him on this straight. Yes, the Ferrari engine helps Davey massively, and actually Biz is going for a move on Forbes on this first lap after the restart. A bit of contact made that looked like more of Biz fault, to be honest. Licker also made a move on Sam T with the same engine, and Bugatti actually got past Davey, but in the background there is Kupiop side by side with Davey as well. He goes down the inside in front of the Mercedes grandstand, and he gets through and up into P6.
Yeah, Jonathan's now going side by side with Nanobacon, who's got damage after he hit into the back of, I think it was Tipson or Cayman coming into the hairpin as he's gone side by side with who I think might have been Tipson. He got damage as he lost it under his brakes. He didn't lose it as such, he just went a bit too deep trying to keep that position away from Tipson, but then he just hit into the back of the car ahead and got wing damage, which is really going to affect his race. But Jonathan moving up to P16, so not too bad for him. Praga stays where he is.
Are you sure that he's got front wing damage? Because on my screen it's actually fine.
Actually, it might have been Malham then. Wait, I saw Nanobacon. He's lost left end plate.
Nanobacon or?
Nanobacon, yeah.
Oh, and Praga's just lost
Praga
the
being
spot.
overtaken by Greeny.
And Sam T is going for a move back on Lickle. Maybe down the hairpin. Up front we've got the battle for the lead going on once again. That Honda engine from Forbes really doesn't help right now, but he's got a better exit it looks like. But like I said, the straight line speed of the Ferrari is much better than the one of the Honda, and Forbes still manages to hold on to the lead. And there goes Bugatti down the inside of Sam T. What a move in front of the Mercedes grandstand. A very ballsy move, a very late lunge, but a great one as well.
Yeah, Mercedes fans are going to be disappointed with that, of course, as right in front of their own grandstand. But Biz, he's all over the back of Forbes right now because of that Honda's straight line speed. It's just bad, really. But Forbes in the corners, he seems to be able to gain just a little bit despite being on the hard tyres. But Biz, on the straights and on the exits, he just seems to be that little bit better than Forbes, which is going to hurt him with DRS enabled now this lap.
Oh, Biz goes off the track. That was surely a warning. And we did see quite a good battle for the race lead at the moment. The last two laps after the safety car restart. It gets a bit darker actually in terms of the weather, so we might see some rain coming at some point. But right now there isn't. But there comes Biz once again round the outside into the hairpin. Let's see, can he get the move done this time? It looks like he's still on the outside. Forbes gives him the space. It's side by side, coming down into the Mercedes, towards the Mercedes grandstand. This time, Biz has got the inside line, but he backs out. Or does he? He's still slightly side by side, but not quite.
Yeah, Biz just getting closer and closer to Forbes. He's going to go around the outside, coming through this next fast right-hander. He has to back out again, though. Oh, he's getting very close to Forbes. He looks like he's got a little bit more pace than him in that Ferrari with that extra straight line speed. He just cannot find a way through Forbes right now. He seems to be defending really well, is Forbes. Just keeping him behind for now, but Biz on the brakes. He just got so much closer there. He's having a great time in that Ferrari. He's also got loads of ERS. He's not even putting it up right now, so I think we could see Biz trying to make a move on Forbes for that race lead and making it stick very, very soon.
Lico already picks up a 3-second time penalty. That is not going to help his race at all at the moment. But right now we're still focusing on that fight for the race lead. On lap 7, will we see an actual change of lead? It looks like we are. Forbes is not really putting up much of a fight right now. They're still kind of side by side coming down into the hairpin, but Biz takes the lead on lap 7. And there goes Bugatti down the inside of Lico, and he gets the move done.
Yeah, it's a great move from Bugatti, moving himself up to P3, and Biz has finally been able to clear Forbes, and maybe he's going to try and get a gap while he can, while his tyres are still better, and he's got that straight line speed to be able to pull away. As Forbes can stick inside of his DRS, he may be able to stick with him for later on in the race. But yeah, Biz moves up into P1 in his Ferrari, Forbes is now back into P2, and then Bugatti, he's in P3 now, so he's going to look to try and win this race, catch Forbes, pass him, pass Biz. So it's all still to play for in this race.
There's definitely enough time for the drivers to do some things out there on the track. But remember, Forbes has got the better strategy at the moment with his hard tyres. He's still doing a pretty good job. And maybe he's just saving everything, but it doesn't look like he's got that much of ERS left actually.
Yeah, ERS management on this track is very important as it drains quite a lot. with the three straights all kind of next to each other, and then you got the fast section as well just after that. So it's not much time to be able to regain your ERS. His little blocks, he's just blasted past Bugatti without a very, very weak Honda engine. Little's now back into P3, but Bugatti, you almost had him on the exit on the switchback, so also having a nice little fight, which is good to see.
And I only just realized that Praga is really struggling for pace right now. He has been overtaken by his championship rival and is down into 15th. So it's not really going too well for the Williams driver right now, and for the driver second in the championship. He has got the tyre advantage on his second stint, but still right now it doesn't really look good for him.
Yeah, I don't think Prague has had the best pace in his Williams the last couple of races, so I think he's really been struggling. He just keeps losing positions all the time, so it's really disappointing for him, as Jonathan has managed to get back out in front of him. So if they end up in the points later on in the race, it's going to be Jonathan still. If it stays as it is with him in front, he's still going to keep his championship lead. But as we've just seen, Maxi Luke again, 3-second time penalty. Time penalties are a thing around this track, so it could be important to watch out for them. But Forbes, he's going to be able to get past Biz. Maybe he's got a Biz with straight line speed, but Biz just lags behind him. They're going to go side by side, going to hairpin the Ferrari of Biz on the inside right now. Forbes, can he do anything on the exit, on the outside? Exit isn't quite good enough. Those hard tyres not working for him right now. Cannot get his lead back on Biz just yet. He's going to have to wait for a later date.
Yeah, maybe he thinks about the long game here. In terms of strategy, he should have the advantage. But there comes Orkadzagray round the outside. Maybe, no, not quite. Maxi Luca stays in front. And I see some rain. I see some rain on the halos of the drivers. We have got rain once again. Now.
We have rain again. So, people on the hard tyres, they may have made a mistake by not going on the mediums, as they could have pushed the mediums to be able to take it to the rain. But when will the rain become wet enough to go onto the wetter tyres, the inters or the wets? That's what we're going to have to wait and see. But that's really changed the shape of this race.
100%, and like you said, we'll have to wait and see if the rain actually gets heavy enough soon enough to go into the inters, or if the mediums will fall off before that point in time. So maybe all of the hot runners have misjudged that strategy. But here comes Forbes again, and he goes for the outside once again through the hairpin. He gets the space from the Ferrari. A lot of respect between those two drivers. Forbes is in overtake ERS mode. He hasn't got that much left, but like I said, that straight line speed isn't really helping. He still goes for a dive in front of the Mercedes grandstand. Very close. Oh, and there goes Biz into Forbes. He lost the rear end, I think. And now Biz did keep the lead still. Oh, that was a bit unlucky. Oh, Biz goes on the track.
Okay, so I was about to comment on Biz's good defending to keep him forced behind him, but then he's just thrown it all away and put it into the gravel, which is going to really hurt him now. As Forbes, he's already almost got about 7/10 of gap on him already. So Biz, he's just undone all of his work to keep Forbes behind him. He's now let him through due to a mistake, all of his own fault. But yeah, a bit of contact happened there.
Lico, I don't know if that was just the back end kicking out, or if that was actually a planned line from him, but I kind of doubt that. It looked like he completely lost his rear end. We've got a few drivers in the pits. Prague is in the pits. Is he actually going for the intermediate tyres already? I think he is. His race wasn't that great so far, so he takes the gamble. I can understand that. I can respect that. We've got yellow flags. Orkadzagray is off the track and he's spinning round and round. Can't get the car straight anymore, but we've got the first few drivers out on the inters.
Yeah, I think that may be a mistake. I'm not sure it's wet enough. Actually, maybe it is. I've just seen Maxi Luca. He's having an awful time on the traction. As the two runners are going side by side, that's a Greenie on the outside next to Tipson. Tipson's now going to be inside, coming into this corner. Mercedes grandstand. Oh, he just squeezes past him. For now, lots of the rear though. They're not having a good time in this wet condition. I think it might be getting close to the inters. We're going to have to keep an eye on what the gaps are right now. It looks like they may be equal on pace. So the inters, maybe they've made a strategic masterclass. We're not sure. We're going to have to wait and see. As Greenie, he goes out wide. Here's Tipson's chance to get in front of him.
Drivers are pitting. Greenie's off the track. Greenie's lost a lot of positions. and there are some people that have to double stack. For example, Skeven or Davy, they'll have to double stack. Let's see if Forbes actually gets held up. No, he doesn't, just a little bit, but that's fine. Bugatti's got a great pit slot actually. QPR Beast moves himself up into P4 with that one. That is been a really good row of pit stops for him. And Biz has lost quite a few positions because of that and is down into P5.
Yeah, Forbes, he's benefited off this as Biz, his main contender so far in this race, has now dropped back except Little Blocks. He's now up into P2 and Bugatti's in P3, but yeah, I'm sorry for ever doubting the people who went onto the Inters. I didn't think it was going to get wet enough, but it has got wet enough, and now we've seen everyone go onto the Inters, so DRS is disabled, which means we're going to maybe see less overtakes coming into the hairpin, but certainly interesting.
And now we can start remembering the qualifying race where it was wet also, and Forbes did have great pace in that race, pulled away and won by around 4 to 5 seconds, and right now he is already building up the gap to Lickle, so it's looking really, really good for him in terms of race win at the moment.
It is, as Davey, I think he's side by side Cayman right now. Yes, they are. They made a little bit of contact there. Cayman, I think he was in front of David before. Davey had to double stack, which has dropped him back. Oh, that was a loss to the rear end. He's struggling in the wet conditions, so yeah, this is definitely going to change this race. Depends on who has that wet pace. Forbes, like you said, he had good wet pace, and that is showing now. He's 2.3 seconds away now.
Yeah, and in the background we've got QPR Beast, it looks like, fighting with Biz. Or was that just a mistake from QPR Beast? I'm not sure, but everyone seems to be struggling with those conditions right now.
Oh, QPR Beast, he went deep on his brakes, almost hit into the back of Biz, as we just seen Sam T get 3 seconds. So now, are we going to be seeing more penalties because of the weather? Are we going to be seeing less as people try and take it more cautiously? It certainly opens up less room for error. So I think a lot of the drivers are going to be able to take it a little bit more cautiously to stop themselves from making any mistakes, getting any damage. So Forbes, he just seems to be that a little bit quicker than everybody else in the wet in his Red Bull. He seems to be gaining just little by little on Little Blocks, so it's good to see from him.
Yeah, obviously the downforce on that Red Bull car really helps in those conditions. You need that downforce, you need that grip to get the car around the track as fast as possible in those wet conditions. But it looks like Bugatti and Lico are really, really close to each other, and Bugatti is definitely planning on overtaking Lico at some point. But I tell you what, without the help of DRS, that's going to be very, very difficult with this Honda engine against that Mercedes one in front.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing quite a few more gaps happening right now. Without DRS, it's going to be much harder to overtake, but it's probably going to come down more to raw engine power, so it's going to be hard for Bugatti to get past Lico due to Lico's Mercedes engine, as that is Malham retiring from the session. He was in P18 anyway. Is that going to cause a safety car or a VSC? Yes, it causes a VSC, so that's going to slow everything down and the pace will calm down.
It looks like he crashed in front of the Mercedes grandstand. Let's see if we can actually catch it on board with Forbes.
I think he's disappeared now. I can't see him on the map.
Oh yeah, he must have crashed somewhere around here though.
I'm not sure how he managed to crash it there. Maybe a loss of traction on the rear.
Clipped the curb or something. I'm not sure.
I'm not too sure either. But anyway, looking at it, I think Forbes still in the driving seat of this race, 2.8 seconds away from Lickle. As Cam's just left session, he was retired anyway, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, the gaps are starting to form now. As you can see, second gaps between a lot of people and only a few tenths between only a few drivers on track. But oh, Lickle's just got a drive-through penalty.
Oh, and Bugatti has gone past that. Has gone past because of that. I'm sorry, I was struggling to get my words out. But did he speed?
I think so, yeah. He said speeding on the VSC, so Local Blocks, he's had to serve a drive-through. It looks like he's going to come out P6, which Or is he going to be going side by side with Sam? Yeah, he's lost out to Sam. He's in P7 now. Skeeven, he hasn't been able to get past him. But that's going to be huge for Lickle. He's lost so much time because of that. He was fighting with Bugatti, maybe even trying to go for and push for that win, but he's lost out. And now look, he's down in P7. And he was in P2, so Littlebox, he's made a fatal error. Now he's got error, so he's got a lot of work to try and get back. He goes up the inside.
Into the hairpin. It looks like he's got a lot of anger inside of him, and he loses the rear end. That might give Skeeven a chance to get past. And yes, that will not make Lico happy at all. He tries to go for a move back down the inside in front of the Mercedes grandstand, and he gets the move done, it looks like, yes. And I think it might be because he is hosting the lobby, I think. And I think the lobby host is not able to speed under the VSC without getting a penalty.
Yeah, everyone else can. I think most other people can speed under VSC. I'm not too sure though. I think that's a glitch. But yeah, Littlebox, it's really disappointing for him. I'm not sure how he ended up speeding, but it's a big mistake from him. Skeeven wants to get past, but it looks like he's losing out just a little bit to the superior car of Sam T. But yeah, look, he's just got through. Oh, he's in the wall! Look, he's retired from this race in turn 1. VSC again. I'm surprised I saw a full safety car, really. So that's a very big crash. He's right on the racing line.
Massive.
He just lost the rear and went flying into the wall. So Lickle, he was having such a great race, sped on the safety car, got a 3-second time penalty, and spun and hit the wall, and it's race over for him. His car was right on the racing line as well. I'm surprised that wasn't a full safety car, if I'm honest. So
I gotta say, I was looking at the championship standings for the moment. That's why I didn't react immediately to what happened. But I was looking at the championship standings in terms of how much that would get Bugatti from this race, and he would gain 24 points at the moment, which would bring him up to 79 points, and with that he would actually be leading the championship, because right now as it stands Jonathan is only on 75. So Bugatti, if he stays in that position and if Jonathan can't get up the grid any further, he is in the championship lead.
yeah, Bugatti are reigning champion from last season, so he wants to try and defend that championship, and he looks like he's going to be able to put up a good fight today for it. So green flag racing again, I'm not sure when that happened, wasn't paying too much attention to that.
Skeever nearly put it into the wall as well, out of turn 1. Nearly did an exact copy of Lickle 1 lap later, and that was so close to retirement. He nearly even clipped the gravel on the inside. So very lucky for him to keep it out of the wall and on the track.
Yeah, I missed that. I wasn't looking. I was in my own little world. I didn't realise we were racing again. But I've also seen Cayman almost go into the back of Praga as he lost under his brakes. But Davey, he looks like he might go for a move around the outside, covered his hairpin. No, he backs off and waits. Oh, Cayman's hit Praga! Praga's round! And there's a big contact between Davey and the Williams of Praga.
Oh, and
he just hooked him.
Ah.
Oh, that was a huge mistake under the brakes from Cayman. He just broke way too late and hit straight into Praga. So, yeah, that was a really stupid mistake, really, if I'm talking honestly. So, that's not great to see, but big mistake. He's given Davey wing damage as well, who's actually Cayman and Nanobaden going side by side, making a bit of contact as well. So, oh god, big crash.
Well, Praga's race wasn't going that well before anyway, and now it's gone from bad to worse, and that is definitely not helping him in the championship right now. He is currently losing 4 points to his rival, which is not good at all.
No, it's not good for him at all. He needs to make up one position if he even wants to get a single point for Biz. He looks like he's got good pace today. He's just behind Bugatti. As Cayman retires as well. That was in the pits, I think. Yeah, he's decided to call it quits. He's had enough. The wing damage was too much for him. But Biz, he's got good pace in his Ferrari. He's just behind Bugatti now. Closest fight we have on track. So Will he be able to make the move on Bugatti? It looks like he's got that little extra pace in the wet compared to him, so this is certainly interesting. And if he falls down one position, does that mean Bugatti can't get the championship lead?
I'm not quite sure if he would actually keep it. Let me have a look. But remember, Biz was right up there in P2 until the pit window opened and everyone was switching onto the Inters. He got held up massively and dropped down a few positions. That's why he isn't in P2 anymore. But to be honest, that looks like it's going to be an easy move for him. With his Ferrari engine against that Honda one in front. Maybe even now into turn 2, he goes side by side with him. I've certainly got the glitch, which is awful to listen to with the engine. And let's see, it should be really easy for him now on that long straight. And yes, Bugatti doesn't really put up much of a fight. And yeah, it looks like currently he would only gain 20 points. But that would mean they would be, him and Jonathan would currently be equal on points.
Well, that's something interesting as he loses that position to Biz, who seems to be really quick. That Ferrari engine was just too much for the Honda-powered Toro Rosso of Bugatti. He's just lost out to him now, which is really disappointing for him. He just couldn't put up a fight. And look, Biz is flown away already. So, Jonathan, he's not too far away from Tibson to try and get himself up to P8 and, you know, hold on to his championship lead. So, oh, we lost the rear though.
Yeah, and went really wide there. Bumped over the curb. He has to be lucky in that situation that there's no such thing as floor damage or anything like that on this game, because I think there would have certainly been some floor damage when you go over those curbs in real life. But with floor damage not being a thing in this game, everything's fine. But he seems to be struggling through the last sector against Tibson, who obviously has got much better downforce in that last sector compared to the Williams.
Yeah, that's where he's losing out. I think that's why he can't make the move. But Skeven, he's closing up to Sam Thompson. I'd say these engines are relatively equal, as Prague's race gets even worse. He gets a 3-second time penalty, which is disappointing. Skeven doesn't look like he's going to be able to make a move into this hairpin. He's just a little bit too far away, and they're kind of too equal on pace, those engines and setups, it seems. So, yeah, Skeven's going to have to wait that little bit longer, but Jonathan, yeah, he's losing on that third sector, which is why he can't make the move, come into the hairpin, even turn 2 or anything like that. So the downforce of the Williams really starting to hurt him. And is it me or is that rain getting a little bit heavier?
I might be. If it looks like it's heavier than before, and if that's actually the case, we should see some puddles building next to the racing line in a few laps' time. And then there might be the question coming up, is it worth switching onto the extremes, or should you stay on the inters? Oh, as Sam T loses it, and that gives Skeven a really good run, but he has no chance of overtaking the Mercedes somewhere here in the last sector. It's basically impossible to overtake there except from the Sux curve, but you can see how much Sam is pulling away on the straight there. Just on that little straight, even though Skeven has got so much ERS and Prague's in the pits.
I'm not sure why he's coming to the pits or what he's doing. I wouldn't assume you'd have to pit off of the inters. Would you say you'd have to make a pit stop? He goes on to another set of inters, so do you think these drivers aren't going to be able to make the inters last to the end?
Well, I'm not sure. We saw some drivers trying to take, on Sunday we commentated a different league race, and that drivers took the inters around 20 laps, was that 2022?
So 25 laps I think it was from.
Yeah, and then a few got punctures, some didn't, some pitted right before the end. And I'd say in Germany the tire wear is a bit heavier than in Brazil, so it might actually be a solid call from Prague in this situation, because I think you know, they have to take, when we cross the line now, we've got 14 laps left and 13 laps left, sorry. And 23 lap inters are not that easy to get to the end here in Germany.
Yeah, I think most drivers are going to have to make another pit stop, so maybe Prague is trying to put off a pretty decently sized undercut, so it could be a really good strategy call from him to be able to, you know, make up positions. Hang on, Skeever's got a really good exit through turn 1. Is he going to be able to make a move on Sam? No, he's not. I think so. Oh, yes, he is. He's got over the inside coming into turn 2. Here comes Skeever up the inside of Sam T, except Sam T, he's managed to hold on around the outside, except it's a better exit for Skeever, almost going onto the grass, getting pushed up quite far wide. Sam T, he's managed to get back out in front. I think he's got a little bit extra straight line speed. Can Skeever go for a move into the hairpin, late braking lunge? I think he's going to go for it. He does go for it. Up the inside into the hairpin. Can Sam do anything about that? He gets squeezed. Just about gets pushed off the track. Skeeven moves up to P6.
And now look at Tipson. Tipson has got a better run because of that. And maybe he can go for a move down the inside into here. He thinks about it. Yes, he goes. That's a bit half-hearted. There's a bit of contact between the two. Still a lot of fair racing between the two. Room is not quite given for Tipson in that situation. He goes off the track as well. And maybe Jonathan now can take advantage of that. No, not quite yet. But now he goes side by side with Tipson coming down into the sucks curve. Here in the stadium section, you've got the chance to overtake here. But apart from that, it's going to be really, really difficult. And I think he just has to sit behind.
Yeah, Jonathan almost really capitalised off that, but I think Sam T made a couple of mistakes as he pits, so does Skeeven, so does Jonathan. So most people have gone for their second set inters.
We've got someone on the wets, actually. It doesn't look that wet, though.
Actually, I see a few puddles there.
So
I don't think it's wet enough. Yeah, I don't think it's wet enough.
Onto new winters.
I'd say that's the right call. Yeah, all Category is struggling. Oh, Davey's gone. Where's that?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Has he crashed into the pit lane?
Maybe. I can't even see him on the map.
Neither can I.
Actually, yeah, I think he crashed into the pit lane.
Ah, that's
not the first time we've seen a driver do that.
Yeah, I was thinking that. But still, that shouldn't really happen. But I think his position wasn't that great anyway. So I think he was outside the points, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was outside the points, so it's not going to make a huge difference, but slightly disappointing for him. But it's Bugatti pits, but the top two not making their pit stops. So it's interesting that some of the front runners here, they're not making their pit stops just yet. Are they going to try and take it to the end?
Would be a stretch. Tipson is staying out.
Big stretch.
CC Brain is staying out. Greenie has just made a mistake.
Oh yeah, has just been overtaken by Skeeven, which should be Sam Thompson. He's closed up as well.
I think he was off the track.
Got damage. He's gone very slowly. He pits, so
maybe his tyres are overheating now. But Bugatti now down into fifth. But obviously all four cars in front of him.
Oh, Greenie's crashed. Oh no, he hasn't crashed.
He has retired manually
in the pit lane. Oh, okay.
So Bugatti with 4 drivers in front of him who haven't pitted yet. Maybe, just maybe, he gets lucky that someone tries to, you know, stretch their tyres out till the end, and then maybe they'll get a puncture. But I kind of doubt that anyone wants to risk that.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth trying to take those tyres to the end. It just won't come off.
Pieces into the pits. What's with QPR Beast? Let's see. Will he pit? Yes, he will. Into the pits he goes. Maxi Luca also pits. So Forbes, currently the only driver out on track except from Tipson and CC Brain, who haven't pitted yet.
I think it's better to pit now while you can, because trying to stretch those inters, it won't work, and his tyres most likely will blow up. So I think he has to pit this lap if he wants to stay in contention for winning this race, unless he's got godly tyre wear. The only man I know who would be able to take tyres that long, I'd say, is Napula, who has unbelievable tyre saving skills, but I don't think Forbes is going to be able to take those to the end. I think he has to pit now if he wants to stay in this race.
Yeah, I think we always talk about a point of no return, where when you stay out too long, then at some point you will come out behind the driver you want to stay in front of, and then you basically have to take the tires till the end. So he definitely doesn't want to go too long, so he hits that point of no return, then has to basically make the tires work. But right now, with 10 laps to go, he goes into the pits and goes for the save strategy. But I could see Tipson and CC Brain staying out on their tires, actually.
Yeah, maybe it's more worth it for them to try and take the risk, to take it a little bit longer, but Forbes has probably made the right call. He was losing time to Biz anyway, so it's probably for the best that he is pit now. But Jonathan behind Sam T, he's closing up now, the closest battle we have right now, except I wouldn't call it a battle for now, because he's just not quite close enough. So not many points in it, but it's certainly going to help him in trying to keep his championship lead defense going, so he's going to want to try and close up to the Mercedes.
Yeah, it's not too far away, but it is going to be very difficult, especially with that 3-second time penalty he's just got. But the gap behind him is 9.9 seconds to his championship rival Praga. Now actually 10. So this race is really not going well for Praga at the moment.
Yeah, our two championship leaders are not having a good race, really, down 10th and 11th. The Williams, I don't think it works very well around Germany, as it doesn't really work well around many tracks. It's all Jonathan, who's really late on his brakes compared to Sam, who maybe broke a little bit earlier, or Jonathan just broke really late, but he's closed right up because of that, almost hitting to the back of him, in fact. But he seems to be going much quicker now. Oh, he has hit into the back of him. Sometimes has been sent wide by Jonathan, who made contact, who slows down, lets off a bit, which is fair. I think he just went a little bit later on the brakes and just hit into the back of him. I think he might have damage from that as well, which I couldn't see.
I don't think he has. I think I could see both of his hand plates. Yes, he has got at least most of his front wing, but actually the gap between Forbes and Biz is not that big. Let me just quickly check how it looks in terms of time penalties. So Forbes has got none, and Biz has got 1 penalty and a warning. So that penalty might have been for
Max Luke is about to overtake Tibson on the straight. I think that's going to be quite a simple overtake for him now, except can Tibson do anything around the outside? Late on the brakes, no, he cannot do anything to the McLaren and Maxi Luca for now. Maxi Luca moves himself up into P5 and Tibson down into P6, but yeah, Biz, got a lot of work to do if he wants to be able to try and win this race. Not many laps remaining, 7 or 8, something like that.
Oh, Maxi Luca got wide, but still he manages to stay in front, and I think Tibson is more focused on actually keeping the car on track than and keeping the tyres alive, because when your tyres are so dead, especially in the rain, it's so easy to go off, and it's so easy to overheat the tyres then as well, especially when the rain, as it does right now, it looks like it is easing off massively, and we maybe even see a chance of switching onto slicks for the last 2 or 3 laps.
I'm not sure we'll be able to draw up quick enough for that, if I'm honest, but you know, let's not rule out the possibility. But yeah, I think it's better if Tibson and CC Brain don't engage in too many fights if they want those tyres to last until the end, because it's going to be quite a hard task. They don't seem to be having much pace on them, so they're going to want to try and stay out of any fights they can, so they can keep those tyres going and functioning.
Yeah, and I think the dirty air won't help either. But by the way, look at Biz. Biz is within 1 second now.
Oh yeah,
Biz is really doing a good job right now. Let me just check what kind of penalty did Biz actually get. He got did he get a 5-second one? I'm not sure. No, a 3-second one. So I think still Forbes has none. No, he hasn't. So he has to get lucky with Forbes penalties, and also Forbes has
gone wide.
That might be a pen. No, it isn't. He's slowed down. But look at the gap. Look at the gap. He slowed down to not get a time penalty. And now Biz is super close. And we saw how the Ferrari engine is really helping on that straight. And now he's close enough. Honda is not really giving Forbes much of a help right now. But here comes Biz round the outside again. We saw that quite a lot of times at the start of the race. He's going for the switchback, it looks like. And he can't get the power down soon enough, though. He hasn't got much of ERS left either. And Forbes has got loads of ERS. So I think that might be all in within his plans, because it's not that difficult to overtake when you've got around 90% of ERS and the driver behind has got around 20. So I think that might be planned from Forbes right now and more of a tactical decision.
Yeah, I'd say Biz, if he is going to want to try and get that race win and get a 3-second margin to Forbes, he's going to want to try and make the move at least this lap. It's going to have to be now or never for him. If he wants to get 3 seconds, he'd have to make it about a second a lap to be able to take this race win. So he's got everything to do now on this lap, as Jonathan's just overtaken Sam T. So that's giving him a little extra boost in terms of a couple of points. But oh, Biz!
That compromises exit.
He's too late on the brakes into that corner. He did it the lap before as well. He is getting too close and almost take himself and others out of the race. So yeah, that's quite a big mistake from Biz.
And like you said, it was probably now or never when he wants that win. And it's basically now near impossible. I mean, the next opportunity he gets to pass Forbes is on lap 31, and then to get a 3-second gap within 3 laps to a car that is... Oh, he's left the
Biz
session!
Left. Okay.
Oh no!
That's awful for him. He won't be able to rejoin, of course, as he'd be disqualified if he did. So that means Biz is over and Bugatti moves himself back up into P3 and everyone else moves up 1 position, but Biz, only 4 laps until the end. Oh, that's so disappointing. Absolute heartbreak for him. It would have been a podium in that Ferrari, but the universe said otherwise.
Jonathan got a penalty. Another one.
He did.
And he's only just in front of Sam T. Prague is far enough away, but he will pick up a point most likely now because of Biz lagging out, which is really a shame. But
yeah, it's really
Skeven is really close to CC Brain, who's still on his 19 lap old Inters, so that's not going to help him. Let's see if Skeven can actually get past both of these guys here. That would make a huge difference with a double point system. And CC Brain kind of lags in front. But let's see, he is close. He is in overtake ERS mode. But can he go for a move down the inside? Yes, he can. He goes for it into the hairpin. And that looked like a rather easy move on those a lot fresher tyres. More 11 lap fresher than the ones from Tipson and CC Brain. And he's really looking forward to that P6, I think.
Yeah, he's not far from Tipson, and I think he's going to be able to make that move. It looks like he has some good pace now in this later stage of the race. There's Tipson's tyres there dying, same as CC Brain. You can see Skeven's just extra pace on him. Is he going to be able to make a move up the inside? I think it's just that little bit too far away for now. But it looks like Skeven, he's going to be able to make himself move up into P6. Only 3 laps to go of this race, of course, but looks like Forbes, he's now going to have an easy win. No penalties and no worry or threat from the car behind us. Biz, unfortunately, lags out of the session.
Yeah, I think the only battle we will have on track till the end of this race with 3 laps to go is Skeven right behind Tipson. And that looks like it's going to be an easy move on that straight right now. He's got a lot better tyres. Jonathan picked up another penalty. That's like the third one I saw right now, I think. But here goes Skeven with his straight line speed, with his Ferrari engine. He gets past. Let's see, can CC Brain take advantage of that. Yes, he can. Down the inside, he goes into the hairpin. He doesn't quite outbrake himself. Can Tipson go for a switchback move? Both obviously on very, very old Inters. They're going side by side. But I think Tipson has to give ways right now. And yes, he has to. And CC Brain did a really good job to use that compromised exit Tipson has got because of that fight against Skeven and got past it.
Yeah, that was very opportunistic from CC Brain, which was a really good move from him. Saw the opportunity, took the opportunity and made the move. Except it looks like I might have made a little bit of a mistake on a little bit too wide there. As Tipson closed up just a little bit, but I think that could be fight over maybe. It really depends on whose tyres fall off first, as I think they're both really falling off if I'm honest, so certainly interesting.
Yeah, 2 laps to go. Hopefully none of them will get a puncture. I bet Jonathan behind will be praying for them to get one, but it doesn't look like they will. It looks like their tyres are absolutely done, but it looks like it will just be enough to come across the line. But I don't want to jinx anything with the commentator's curse, so let's just say they probably will make it.
Hopefully they will.
Obviously we don't want a last lap heartbreak for one of those drivers. And
all too many of them.
Yeah. And it looks like Forbes has had probably one of the easiest victories of his career. It looked a bit tight at some point at the start of the race and when Biz got close, but basically everything went his way in the end. So he's had a very good car, probably a bit too good, but still he has done the job as he is crossing the line now to start his final lap. You gotta give him credit anyway. A really good drive from him so far. And it looks like Tipson is too far away from CC Brain to make a last lap overtake.
Yeah, Forbes, he's led basically every single lap, and I've just noticed it stopped raining, so we might have a little bit of sunshine to come out as they cross the line. So, yeah, Forbes, he deserves this win, probably. I mean, it's too good of a car for him, but yeah, I think he deserves it. Led almost every single lap, now he's going to take the win by over 8 seconds, it seems. Because, well, Biz lagged out, who was his closest rival to the end, but unfortunately, he went, so... Hang on, here comes Sam T though on Jonathan. Is he going to be able to make a move? Coming around the outside into the hairpin. He's going to go for it. The Williams on the inside. Can he do anything about that? He still goes down the braces, Jonathan. They're going to go side by side. Gives him a little squeeze. Sam, he's still stick his nose in there. Except he couldn't do anything about it and got squeezed out by Jonathan, which is unfortunate.
Here comes Forbes. The Red Bull mechanics are ready to celebrate. He is as well, and he wins the German feature race in the FP Challenge Cup in front of Bugatti, who takes second and a really solid amount of points in the championship. QPR Beast makes it back-to-back podiums in feature races. Maxi Luca finishes in P4. Really good race from him as well. And Skeven takes fourth, actually. Skeven takes fourth in front of Maxi Luca. Beers is obviously lagged out. Tipson takes P6 in the end. Biz lagged out car takes 7th. CC Brain 8th. Sam T picks up 9th in front of Jonathan, who has had loads of penalties. His Williams teammate Praga and his championship rival retires across the line and might get overtaken by Nano Bacon because of that, actually.
I don't think so, because he's crossed the line, but...
It doesn't say he's finished.
Actually, do you think Biz will...
Oh,
he does
did.
actually, yeah.
He did.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I was going to say, if Biz gets... will he be removed from the race results because of his lagging out?
I'm not sure, but if he would, then that would be awful for Praga, because he just dropped down to 12th. Yeah, even 2 because of double points.
Oh no.
And they could be crucial in the end, who knows, but here you have your podium. And 2 of these 3 podium podium finishes in terms of cars is actually accurate to the real life result.
Indeed. Actually,
Red Bull, Toro
not
Rosso.
too far off, as the Toro Rosso did finish on the podium here in Germany as well, in the
Yeah,
name of
yeah,
Kvyat.
that's what I meant. So here you have your race result. We run down through it as well. Praga. If actually Biz gets disqualified, then that is a huge bottom. I mean, he will say
Absolutely.
2 points don't matter, but who knows? In the end, 2 points could decide everything, and
We've seen,
every point actually counts, I'd say.
yeah, because we've seen Niki Lauda in, I think it was 1984, when he won his championship by half a point.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Or was it
Massa
82?
lost it.
Against
Something
Prost.
like that. I have no idea.
Was
it was
it
one
Prost?
of those years.
Yeah.
In the 80s sometime. Half a point. Massa 1 point. Kimi 1 point. Well, Massa lost out in the championship, but Kimi got it by 1 point.
Yeah.
So, you know, 2 points could be the difference between winning and losing.
So that was the race.
Time for a toast.
Yeah, I would
I'm inviting
really
them
appreciate if you could invite them. Yes, thank you very much. But yeah, I think it was pretty clear from the start for us that Forbes would go on to win this race. Actually, we said he's going to be one to watch this time. Don't be wondering why I'm talking alone right now, because I need to talk a lot because the stream can't hear you, obviously, when I'm inviting people, when I'm not in the game menu. So I'll just have to talk about the race in general. There is Caden, our race winner, as you suggesting the others?
Yeah, I'm trying to suggest the others, except Gatti just left, which is really annoying.
I can invite QP
I don't know.
Beast. So QP Beast, third place driver. I'm not sure if I have anyone added. It would be nice. I can check. But it's really annoying that I have to do all the talking right now, just because PlayStation just doesn't record the voice when you're not in the game menu. But that's how it is. I think we can. Have you got it? Ah, great. Cheers. Alright, so we're going to start off with you, Caden. First of all, well, I hope the others are joining. First of all, please make sure you've got your microphone on shared. We had some issues. But if that is the case, then first of all, congratulations on your win. Looked like a pretty dominant one. Were you pretty confident all race long that you would take this win in that car you were in?
I mean, yeah, I'm surprised I was in that car, but I just had to keep it clean. I mean, I started from pole, I just had to keep it clean all race and stay out of incidents, which is what I did, not get pens, and, you know, I could take home the win. I had line wing damage since lap 10, but I don't really think it made much of a difference, but oh well, I still won, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, there was... There was a point in time where Biz came actually really close to you, and at the start of the race you were already in a fight for P1. You were on slow tyres at that point though. Then later in the race on the inters he came very close until he lagged out, sadly. But then it looked like you were just playing with your ERS and you had the advantage over him in terms of ERS management. Was that all part of your plan, or was that just the confidence you had that you could stay in front of him and win this race?
I was just saving ERS well, just doing what I normally do, and I ended up with a lot of ERS, so yeah.
Alright, then in the end you took the entire points you could get out from this weekend, except from that point for fastest lap. I think Biz actually got it in the end, but he retired from the race. So with you winning this race and dominating basically, then could you take maybe a few more wins this season here and there, or maybe a few podiums, or do you think that will get really difficult now when you get faster cars, slower cars? Sorry.
I mean, it depends on a lot of things because you can always gain more incidents all the time, and like depends on the track, depends on the weather. But I think I can get a few wins, get a couple of wins.
All right, then congratulations on your win today, and just tell us your quick thoughts about Singapore next week.
Decent track, but I'm shy without line there.
Okay.
I'll be probably in the Williams.
All right, so not an easy weekend for you then, but still I wish you the best of luck for it, and congrats on your win today.
Thank you.
So Jack, do you want to go on to talk to our second place driver?
Well, second place
can
isn't actually here yet, but
It's third place, so
Third
is
place.
Bugatti here yet?
I can take it.
not yet.
I don't mind.
Yeah, just
Okay, so anyway,
Fuck off.
I got to interview you last week, of course, where you got the win. You kind of went under the radar for me again today. You didn't really... I don't think I really noticed you too much, but this is the second race in a row, I believe, where you've finished on the podium. So, do you think that you can continue this run of form coming along into the next few rounds?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident I can. But when I look at the calendar, I look at Singapore, Japan, Monaco. I'm looking at 3 tracks I haven't actually turned a wheel at this game on, so it could be quite tough. But I'm looking forward to it. I think I'll probably still be in an alright midfield car next race, maybe down into the Toro Rosso or something, which actually could be really nice for Singapore, with its decent traction and downforce. So it'll be alright. Looking forward to it. It's all good fun this league, so yeah, good.
No, but that's good to hear. But coming into this race, picking up the third place, there was rain in the qualifying race, and then coming into the feature race, there was also rain again. Were you planning ahead for any rain, as Germany is no stranger to it, of course, as we've seen in the past? Were you running more of a kind of wet-based setup, or were you running your usual dry one?
Well, so for the qualifying race, I did run a wet setup. I had one saved, so I loaded that up. It was alright. It was like 5.9 wings or something, so yeah, it worked. Had a little off though in that race. I was up in like 5th or something at one point, but went off at the exit of turn 3 or something. But then for the real race, for the 50%, I was on a pretty dry setup, to be honest. Yeah, it was my normal dry setup, so it got quite tough when the rain came down. Especially with that Ferrari engine in the Sauber, it's a bit more difficult on traction than cars like, well, the Honda engine cars and the Renault cars. But I managed to adapt eventually, and had some bang average pace, to be honest. It wasn't great, but it was alright. Got third, I'll take it.
Well, fair enough. I've already asked you about the future run, so I'm going to leave it here. But very well done on your P3, and hopefully we see you up on the podium in the next few races. But I'll hand it back to Felix, who I'll assume will kind of lead us out of the streamers. I don't think Bugatti's going to be joining us today.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, congratulations to you as well from my side. And yeah, I think that was quite an entertaining race again. Like we already experienced in other leagues, rain doesn't really make the race that much more interesting or exciting in terms of overtaking. But still, I think it was quite a solid one. And yeah, it was a lot of fun commentating with you again today. So thanks for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And
relatively enjoyable.
yeah, and hopefully next week is going to be the same with Singapore when we are going for round 5 then. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be a bit more clear how it is with the formation lap actually, because I was pretty sure we had a formation lap the previous races, but today it turned out we didn't. But still, hopefully we will have more info next week, and yeah, hopefully we'll have a similarly good race. And I would say take care and goodbye until next week.